So I wanted to come through and I wanted to talk about Malik Yoba. Malik Yoba recently came out and admitted that he is attracted to trans women, which is fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Okay? That is fine. Okay? Because there's some really attractive, pretty trans women out there. Now, I'm not into trans women, I'm into men. I'm into men. I'm into manly, hairy men. That is what I like. I like men. Okay. And I like men who smell like men. I'm sweet enough, honey. Okay. So he comes out and he admits that he is attracted to trans women. And again, that is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But then I go to his Instagram and he writes an entire dissertation, which looks like a spell to me. It looks like a spell. And under this entire dissertation that he writes, there's a video of a young man that was admitting to a group of black men that he's attracted to trans women, and the black men were eviscerating him because of that. I'm assuming I didn't watch the whole video because I wasn't really interested in that, but this young man killed himself. He killed himself because his girlfriend left him and he overdosed on drugs or some shit like that. I don't know. I wasn't really interested in that story. But Malik Yoba was basically saying that, homophobia and transphobia has to stop. And what's interesting is that he put in the video, he put in all caps, black men, but all men. So his message and that spell and that mind control was mainly targeting black men in general. Again, and I want to repeat this as much as possible, this isn't about him being attracted to trans women. I've actually known for quite some time. I'm not going to say how I know, but I've actually known for quite some time that Malik Yoba was attracted to trans women. But I'm not going to say how in this video because that's private. So it's not a secret to me. It's not a big shock to me. But what I find really interesting about this entire story is the energy behind it and what it really means. Now, check this motherfucking shit out. There's going to be a transgender march here in DC, September the 27th. Check out that 27th. 2 plus 9. I mean, 2 plus 7 equals 9. Okay? Powerful occult symbol right there. They're trying to push a certain agenda. Okay? This isn't about your average transgender person who's living their life and doing what they do. This isn't about them. This is about the agenda that the Hollywood industry and institution is trying to push. And I find it very interesting, the timing, because I just made a video titled The Gay Agenda Ritual That Heterosexual Black Men Are Up Under. And I'm a black gay male. And even I can see the bullshit and the fuckery that's going on. This is not about people living in their truth or living their path, living in their own path and living in their own truth. This is not about that. This is about violation and trying to force energies on people that they don't want. So as I read this entire dissertation, it's on Malik Yoba's Instagram page. As I read this entire dissertation, that's a fucking spell. That's a fucking spell designed to put black men up under mind control. He's saying basically in this entire dissertation that black heterosexual men, and by the way, Malik Yoba still identifies as a heterosexual cisgender male. I don't know why they keep using these terms, cisgender this, cisgender that. He's a straight guy. He still identifies as a straight guy who is just attracted to trans women. He says, and this is him saying, he says he loves all women, including trans women. I don't have a problem with how he thinks. Okay, of course, I don't have an issue with that. Of course. But I'm looking at the agenda. I'm looking at the agenda behind what he's doing and what he's saying. So in this dissertation, he is saying that the black community basically needs to show more love to transgender people. Okay? When I look at that and examine that on an occult level, what he's really saying to you is that heterosexual black men need to show more love and compassion to white transgender people. That's the hidden message that's not being talked about. He's also going to be speaking at some trans conference here, I believe here in DC as well. Interesting. What I find, I'm not going to say disturbing because I'm an occultist, I'm not getting emotional about any of this. But what I find interesting is that he didn't mention, and what's not being talked about is how black trans women have different needs than white trans women. White trans women have different obstacles than black trans women. Okay? Black trans women, oftentimes, when you see on the news, when you look on the news, you're always hearing about a black trans woman being murdered or being harmed. Forget the circumstances, it's just what it is. I'm just pointing that out because he failed to mention that. So when he talks about black men, but all men, but he specifically targeted black heterosexual men need to show more love. The hidden message is they need to show more love to white transgender women, while black trans women continue to be murdered by black men. He ain't talking about that though. I'm just saying. Maybe he has mentioned it in the past, but when he put out that motherfucking spell, he didn't say anything about the black trans women who have been murdered and brutalized. He didn't say anything about that. And let me be clear about something. I'm not jumping on any bandwagons, and I'm not trying to be a voice for no motherfucking body in no LGBT community or nothing like that. I'm a solitary black gay person that has my own mind and own views. I don't connect to political groups. I'm just saying what I notice as an occultist, and I notice the wording and the things that he's saying, and he's trying to hide the true agenda. And the true agenda is to put black heterosexual men up under mind control and spells so they can be more susceptible to white transgender people. I told you all this before. I told you I see this in the behavior of black men already, how they have more compassion for gay white people, but then they want to come into the black community and harm black gay people emotionally, physically, or whatever the case may be. Well, Malik Yoba is going to be the face for that now. And not only that, he's going to be the face for more division and assimilation between black people in general, particularly between biological black women, biological female black women, and black heterosexual men. This is all an agenda and a motherfucking ritual and a fucking spell that he's putting out. Okay? That's all that is. Again, I don't have an issue with Malik Yoba being attracted to trans women. If he had just said, I am attracted to trans women and left it at that, that would have been fine. But now he's going to be speaking at trans conferences. He's going to be at this trans march here in DC that I didn't even know they were having September the 27th. He's going to be there. He's going to be there. And I guarantee you the majority of trans people that will be there will be white. I guarantee you. I guarantee you the majority of trans people that will be there will be white. Because this is all, see, this all plays into what I've been talking about on my channel. The interracial agenda, the gay agenda, and now the transgender agenda, they're all intertwined. This is all intertwined, and this is what I've been telling people. And this is why I don't identify with groups because they're trying to propel agendas to take away people's right to say, I'm not interested in this or I'm not interested in that. And that includes myself. Because if I say that I'm not attracted to trans women, then somebody may say, oh, you're transphobic. No, I'm not attracted to that. I'm attracted to men. I'm attracted to men. So this is opening up the gate. This is opening up the gate for you heterosexual black men to suffer more violation of your energy than you already have. That's what this is opening up the gate for. And they're using Malik Yoba as the voice and the vessel for this. Because for years, Malik Yoba was the face of, masculinity in the black community. He was on New York Undercover. He's been on other things. He was the face of masculinity. And I'm not taking anything away from his manhood, and I'm not trying to disrespect him. I'm looking at it from an occult view of what's really going on and how they use black heterosexual men to propel their agendas. The same thing they did with Terry Crews. The same thing they did with Terry Crews for the Me Too movement. Same thing. Same exact thing. He came out and said that some white male executive violated him. He didn't knock the motherfucker out. He allowed this motherfucker to violate him. If that story really happened, I give that shit the side eye too. I don't know if that shit really happened or not. Because any straight black man I know, any straight black man that I know, if some white man or any man came up to him, it ain't got to be white, any man that came up to him and tried to violate him sexually, most black men I know would knock that motherfucker out. But when it comes to white men, you give them motherfuckers a pass. And what Malik Yoba is doing, this entire ritual right here about him saying that black men need to show more love to transgender people and all this other stuff, he's not talking about black trans women. He's talking about white trans women. That's the energy, that's the hidden energy behind that. Okay? That's the hidden energy behind that. And all of this connects to the whole Terry Crews thing. It connects to all of that. I see what's happening. This is opening up the door for black heterosexual men to have their energy violated. That's what this is opening up the door for. Because again, Malik Yoba didn't mention anything about the black trans women who've been brutalized and murdered. He didn't talk about that. He's talking about loving everybody. And when you start getting those messages about loving everybody, you have to question that. You have to question that motherfucking shit. There's an agenda attached to that. I don't fall for bandwagons. The white trans community has different needs from the black trans community. Those are facts. And him being a black man promoting that, it really makes you look at him sideways now. Not the fact that he's attracted to trans women, but he's promoting an agenda. So they're going to do a march here that I will not be attending, by the way. They're going to do a march here to try to propel this new agenda. They're going to do a march here, September the 27th, to propel and execute this new agenda. And black heterosexual men are the target. And I've been telling you niggas this for the longest time, that you are the target for these types of things. But you niggas stay mad at gay black people. You stay mad at gay black people who just live in their truth. You stay mad at us, or you stay mad at black trans women who are just living in their truth. I'm not talking about the ones deceiving you and telling you that they're females and stuff like that. That is wrong. And whatever happens after that, it just happens because you can't, I don't care what anybody says, you can't deceive people like that. Especially when we live in this type of climate, in this type of world, you know. But that's all I really have to say about this. I may come back and say something else, but yeah, this is an agenda and a ritual that they are propelling, and it's going down. This is Sia Grant, aka The Occult View.